Yeah, this looks really solid. It was a difficult reading to determine highs and lows just based on the nullification of both the high and the low significator, but we had this failed attempt to break through key resistance here at the start of the day. And then there's this is like a peak, a notable peak on a 1 day chart that we sell off notably from right out of the open with the high there. I should have seen that as the high. Maybe I did. I haven't looked at the video that I recorded so long ago. It's like months ago that I did the 1222 prediction video. My gosh. Um, we just finished February yesterday. I mean, now I'm working on March. Anyhow, so this turned into a decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Sharp decline there at like 10:30. Um that's that failure card. And then there's this like pop and drop, right? That's that pop and that drop, the lover card, followed by an unexpected move higher out of a decline, star card, and then a near overbought crest that we sell off from pretty notably through multiple support levels. That turns into the ace of discs. We hit an important price level ace of discs wise. I should mark that off actually. I think I like it right there. Actually, it should be a ray. Sorry, guys. All right. Well, maybe we'll go with this since it's a ray. I kind of like that. All right, so then out of the ace of discs, we have the establishment of support with this sideways rotation, and then a notable move higher standing out on a 1 day chart, turning into the Magus card. And this is a cross street incongruency here around the close. Interesting. Let's look at this from a 1 month standpoint. Now I know I've marked this off multiple times. Definitely expected that spike to the downside to be lower, but I would say that what'll happen is we'll carry over until uh, the 26 with more decline here, and this will probably open significantly lower on the 26. Huh. Yeah. Significantly lower on the 26, and then there's like this big move out of that like a decline into a low right at the open, and then like this big move out of the low at the open from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. And it's interesting though, the abundance card is in the low position. So that could be an indication that it's not a new high, the abundance card. It's a cross-street incongruency on the 1 month here for the 26. But since it appears in the low position, it's possible, it's more likely that it's not like a new high as originally expected. Hey, AV. Hey, it was luck. Will the market close flat? I don't think so. The Magus card is usually a pretty significant move. And I think it's probably to the downside. Nope. Nope. Hold on a sec. And it's also a cross-reading congruency from the previous day's sneak preview card. Yeah, I feel like it's the the completion of a rally right here, but it's with a big move to the upside. So I don't think we'll finish flat. We might actually finish higher. Well, higher than like where we are now, I should say. It won't be a decline. That Magus card's looking more and more like a move to the upside. Oh my god, yeah, total move to the upside. There's a big move to the upside coming here, guys. But this star, this double X that I see, this is probably, we're probably a day off here. Well, man, next week is so tough, guys. Like, I don't want to confuse people, but it's like, it's wild. Like, there could be a high there. Looking at the 1 month, it looks like there could be a high there again. But there's also very likely lows, more likely lows than highs. If we had to have one or the other, it would be lows. But I think it's somehow both. Like, and I think this double X is probably, we need to carry it over the weekend. A big drop in Bitcoin. So we're definitely in like the end, like the second half of December, and I think we probably see like some kind of like swinging here, based on the three of discs as one of the very prominent cards in the December reading, being very close energetic frequency, you could say, to the two of discs, or you could correlate the two to each other. An area that I'm trying to improve myself is in paying attention to what's not, what doesn't appear in the reading as well, because that can give you a lot of information, and a lot of the time I neglect to think about that aspect. But one thing that's interesting is that we don't have this labradorite stone appearing here. It would be an important stone, so maybe it's in January. All right, well, yeah, no, let me see if it's in January. Not in January either. Interesting. All right, well, definitely came back to highs as expected. Um, so this could have been all the decline that there was there. I was expecting much more decline, but really there should be some sort of trough tomorrow. I really feel strongly that we've got more to go. Actually, it could be. I could be wrong, and this is the decline. Like that. That's sufficient for this. Um, excuse me, for this to be considered like a notable decline. And you also had a crest in there, right? We went up, made a crest, and then we declined. So this is pretty solid. Although I expect more decline, it's adequate to fulfill the card as accurate, but I expect more before we see this turnaround. And then there should be this big move to the upside. But I wouldn't be like short Bitcoin right now. Like I would only be looking for opportunities to get into a long position because we're going into either the same. This is probably going to be higher highs based on the fact that this did end up being a high. This is probably going to be higher highs over here. I think yesterday I was saying a higher each day, the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th are very likely like consecutively higher highs each day. Um, so if there is more decline here towards the end of the day or in the early part of tomorrow, I would say use that as an entry point. But do it before a big move reaching for a distant resistance, and that's just it. Like we have a big move reaching for a distant resistance next in the sequence of events. But in order for us to really reach a distant resistance, we need to drop more so that then we can move, we can reach for a distant resistance, if that makes sense. Otherwise, it's going to be like, it could be this. Whoa. I'm picking up on some clear audience here, guys. I wish you guys. I wish I was allowed to play the music that's in my earphones for you guys, because it's the only way to really understand clear audience from the perspective that I experience it is in real time. It's synchronized with thought processes and topics of like the moment. I don't know how to explain it without you hearing the music, but it's talking to me right now. Yeah, we've got like a flash decline here before we go higher. I'm picking up on like a flash decline, but it doesn't last long. And then we go higher like for no reason really. We just continue going higher on a multi-day scale. Hey B, will Apple hit 185 next week by Tuesday or Wednesday? Let's take a look. See, I know I definitely marked Apple. Come on, by now it's the end of December. I must have marked this. I don't know what is going on. Uh, So this is looking for like a pretty solid reading. The question is, will we hit 185? That's a huge move. Why did we pick 185? I'm curious. By Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't think so. My sense is that we do not. But let me see. I got a no for that, B. It does not. You were expecting lows in ETH, wondering if it's still in the cards. Let's take a look. Hmm. All right, so let's see. Big move on the third, around the third there, Ace of Swords into Ace of Wands on the fourth. There was a pretty sharp drop there the following day. You could say that was a trough into the sixth. Decline on the seventh, offering opportunity to open up a long position. And then we hit this key resistance here. Not as much of a decline from that ruin card as expected, but it followed. It came like a couple days later. Boom, on the 11th. And that it kind of combined itself with the unicursal energy here. Move to the upside. Fake out there. Yeah, we came pretty close there, and that was what, the 18th. Well, would have expected more of a low here, but it may be that we're like off a day or so here. The following card, we successfully turned resistance into support. So it's probably this price level right here that we turn into support. and then it gets kind of erratic. After turning it into support, it gets erratic, like back and forth through the same price level, which was probably that same support. Then it goes higher. I think that low's probably out of the cards. It looks like a pretty solid reading right up until that point there, and then it goes haywire. I mean, these are pretty wild days. So technically, there's a peak here and then a trough, and then a peak here and then a trough. It really depends on like what scale of chart you look at it from. But I think it gets a little haywire here. In any case, we should see some behavior like this back and forth around this price level, and then by the 25th, 26th, we're probably back to the same highs. And then if it's anything like Bitcoin's end of December, then that over there is probably a new high for the month at the end of the month, which wouldn't have expected. But there is actually quite a lot of saying that now. If we compare it to, like the other like Bitcoin and some of the other cryptos, so I would say that low is probably off the question, out of the cards at this point. My bad. It was luck. I'm not going to get them all right, but my apologies. Well, Tuesday and Wednesday have notable declines, and one so noted that Wednesdays during Mercury are bearish. That just seems so silly to me. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I think it's funny that the astrologer would say that. Like, that's not. No. Doesn't work that way. I mean, maybe it does for them. They could be totally in sync with a completely different set of rules than me, and our realities meet at this moment right now, synchronizing, right, between communication between you talking about them. Could be that. But no, I don't think Wednesday is what would determine a low. But do I see a low in that's in SPY on Tuesday and Wednesday? Hopefully you don't think I was laughing at you, because I was not laughing at you at all. I thought it was funny that the astrologer would say that. Yeah. But it's really crazy. There could be like another high in there. Like this we're so close to highs as it is right now. I would have expected us to be lower here. But because we're not lower yet, this really gives me a strong indication we're going to see like probably a new high for the month here. And then we're going to decline like we'll probably have a decline over the weekend, right, into a significant trough that's probably lower than the low of today, and then a big move taking us like to a high there in the not too distant future on the same day, it looks like. But remember, guys, I've said like a million times by now, this week is really, really wild and hard to read. So like if I'm gonna be wrong, like it would probably be in a case like this, if that makes sense, because there's so much going on. I could be missing something. I could be interpreting wrong. If I'm gonna do it, higher probability in a situation like this where I know right off the bat it's very complicated and difficult to read, is what I'm saying. But yeah, the 26 looks like a decline after like this big move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. Oh wow, there really is a big move there. There really is a big move there in the morning. Big move. And that's a cross-reading congruency there as well at the end of the day. Okay, so we probably opened notably lower, and then like there's this big move higher. We probably see like a high here in the morning after a low. And then we should see that high again here after like all this wild stuff going on. Probably the same high or a higher one at the end of the day. So I think that decline is really, it's either over the weekend or it could be at like overnight into the 27th. Oh, well, there's that abundance card right there. Boom. Again. Interesting. Wow, it is really hard to read, guys. Really hard to read. There's like, it's almost like there's like a like a cloud in front of it. A cloud in front of like the next week. And then yeah, it looks like it's bearish part of the day, and then we go bullish again at the end of the day, in there on the 27th. So it's, yeah, there's some pretty sharp drops in there, but I think overall it's going to be very mixed. And if there's sharp drops, then there's sure to be big pops based on a really mixed kind of wild energy that I'm getting. If we can see sharp drops, I'd say we could probably count on big pops as well. Hey, Baby Yoda, appreciate it. Thank you so much. How's space looking today and next week? I don't think I have. Do I have a December for SPC? I'm not sure. Let's take a look. I don't remember. I think I do. Yeah, I do. Seems so long ago to me because I'm already in the final stages of February readings. Looks like this was not one of my best. It's not awful, but not my best. I missed that high. It was almost like the opposite there. We went from a high there on the first. I thought we would see another one, but in fact, it's a low there, and that ends up being on the fifth, sixth. That was pretty solid. It's almost like this low and this high were swapped. Really weird. That's so weird. Man, SPC pissed me off this year. Big time. Really pissed me off. It's like the only one that didn't go like remotely close to what my expectations are of accuracy. I mean, we still did all right in a lot of cases, but the moves were not what they were expected to be. And then this, I've never seen like a swap like that before. That's so freaking weird to me. Right, I've got a high on the fifth, and it's a low on the fifth, and then I've got a low on the eighth, and it's a high on the eighth. Like, what the heck? But then it goes back into here on the I have for the 12th, 13th a high, and it looks like it's, well, we have a high here on the 12th, 13th, and then one more day in. That's that big move to the upside there. It just went higher. So that's not awful. And then we had a pretty significant low there. I would have expected it to be the lowest low, right? The other lowest low was in the first week, kind of swapped, but I expected another one here. It didn't end up being a lowest low, but it's a definite prominent low out of like all of the highs that are coming through over here. So that's not awful. And then back into peaks on the 22nd. That's pretty solid. Pretty sharp drop at the end of the day on the 26th. Like a sharp drop, like maybe something along these lines. And that'll be after we like attempt to establish support probably at this price level here on the 26th. Up here. On the cusp, 26, 27, sharp drop might be overnight. We establish support and then have a big move higher on the 27th. And then a decline on the 28th that'll offer opportunity to open up a long position. So you could probably open up, if we're at highs on the 26th, you could probably open up a short and close that short in the morning on the 27th. Open up a long on the morning of the 27th and close that long probably end of day on the 27th. And then in the midst of a decline on the 28th, I'd probably open up another long position to close probably in early January. Let me see. Hmm. Yeah, you could probably close that long position like midday or end of day on the on the 4th. Maybe even the third, but probably on the 4th. And then if you got like real, if you got some courage, um, you could probably hold it over the weekend to a high here on the 9th. The ETF, ETH, oh, ETHE. Oh, E. I'm guessing it's this one right here, grayscale. If it's not, let me know. I'm gonna look at grayscale. Interesting. I would like to maybe do a more investigation of this. Um, when's a good entry? Let's take a look over like the next few days. Are you talking about like an entry like for a multi-day swing trade, or are you talking like a long-term entry? All right, so if you're looking for like a multi-day swing trade, Monday's decline on Monday, probably through support that we attempt to establish on Sunday. There's a decline on Monday that offers opportunity to open up a long position, and then you would close that long position in the midst of a rally into Wednesday. If you're looking for an entry point on a long-term scale for ETHE, I got the Ace of Discs, which is pretty auspicious for an entry point on a long term basis. March 21st to June 20th. Somewhere around there would be a good entry point. And that's in 2024. Just double checked. And that is one wild amount of time. It's wide, but it's an ace. That would make sense. That's why it's so wide. But somewhere in there, and might be able to narrow it down in time. We'll see. Yeah, so it'll be somewhere between those dates. Maybe more than one opportunity is possible too, but somewhere within there. Hey Robert, how does your pig business look in the Philippines in February? So, let's see here. Why February? I'm curious. What's like the good month for pigs? Don't tell me. I'm just tell me after I look this up. But February. Whoa. The Aeon card. That's really auspicious, meaning that your business will probably expand or go through like a big burst of sales or like, but the Aeon really it points towards expansion of some kind, like a higher level, a bigger plane, a larger playing field, higher point on the pyramid. That's all Aeon kind of energy. Enlightenment is another Aeon energy, if you will. The opening of the third eye, that's Aeon energy as well. Hey, it was luck. I'm going to roll after this, guys. I'm going to take them to the park. Which of these coins will do better during this bull run? INJ, TIA, KAS. Yikes. Oh, alright, I didn't mix them up. Cool. I had half of my cards facing opposite directions of each other, and I almost shuffled them like that. I hate that. ING, or INJ, TIA, KAS. Imposters is another one. INJ, TIA, KAS, imposters. Looks like the first three are not solid right now. At least it doesn't look like they're the ones to go for. If out of any of them it's this imposters, which I'm not even sure is like a what you're asking. But I got the Emperor card for that, which means it might end up having something to do with like a stable coin. or a government related coin possibly. Um, but probably I'm leaning towards more like a stabilization kind of deal. Interesting. All right, guys. So I'm just gonna roll through SPY real quick, and then I'm gonna head out to the park. Interesting. We did end up pretty close to flat there. Interesting. So then that Magus card has got to really be over the weekend. Pretty sharp drop to the downside with a big move out of that. Like probably like a drop and a pop there first thing in the morning. This is interesting. So here on the 22nd, at the end of the day, we've got the Swiftness card, we got the Strife card, we've got the Valor card. Strife card appears the following day. Um, Oppression, a high here. Where did the high is reached? I think the high for the day on the 27th is here, and the high is reached from a fast sudden move higher, which is the Swiftness card. In other words, the big move at the end of the day on the 26th to reach the Strife card here, first thing around this Oppression card here. Yeah, I'm a pretty strong indication that the drops over the weekend and first thing in the morning. I would probably open up a long position in the midst of that, that you could close at a failed attempt to break through key resistance here midday for a day trade, or you could hold it until the following day. It might be kind of risky. This does the same thing. It goes from a high into a low, and then we go back into like a high towards the end of the day. So you could probably hold that long position until end of day on the 27th, or the last, like around 3 o'clock somewhere. And that's SPY for the coming days, my friends. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Everything that you guys do, my friends, all the watching hours and all that stuff really benefits the channel, and the comments and all that. So blessings to everybody who supports the channel, all my angel investors. Have a fantastic holiday, and Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys on